Much like with books, comics are hard to physically hold and read, and require even more frequent page turning than the books. Fortunately, we live in the age of digital comics, which are easily read with voice recognition software. Reading is most efficient when you use something like VoiceBot or VoiceAttack. Some digital comics come in the form of PDFs, the reading of which I covered in my previous video. You can also purchase comics for Kindles, which you can view using the Windows Kindle app, and that uses the same shortcuts as when you are using books. There is also the site Comixology, accessed through a browser, and it's also owned by Amazon, so any comics you've bought for the Kindle or Comixology will show up in the other when you sign in. Comixology has some additional controls specific to comic books, including to go panel by panel. These are its shortcuts. Another common reader is CDisplay, which reads CBR and CBZ files. Very few companies sell their comics in this format, but here are a couple of sites which still use it, and you may get comics in this format if you back certain Kickstarters. Its appeal is in its simplicity, in that it has very limited options for zooming in and is mostly about showing you the whole page at a given size. And because it's such a small application, it runs better than the others on low RAM computers. You can choose to fit your pages to the height or width of the screen so that you don't have to keep scrolling up and down to see them all at once. Note that the letter A activates an automatic slideshow, so if you mumble while using Dragon you will need to say press alpha to stop it. Here is a list of shortcuts for it. I've generally found it easier to read a comic when each page is displayed as a full page, for example using single page view in Adobe Reader and Comixology, or fit height in CDisplay. If you're using a small laptop this isn't that feasible, but if you have a monitor with enough height and resolution this can work. If it doesn't, you can try viewing the top 2/3 of each page followed by the bottom 2/3. The important thing is to minimize the number of times you have to say something on a given page, and aim to not be viewing the horizontal gap between pages. If you can set it up like that, the great advantage is that turning pages is done with a single command, for example space or page down, and you don't need to worry about arrow keys anymore.